So, so I think it's in order to speak a little bit about um, the adventures of the night and what's going to happen now. So first, I probably wouldn't be able to get better photographs, but maybe you, whoever you are, maybe you can do the zoom and enhancing. Can you do it? The zoom and enhance? No, I'm kidding. I have a little bit of experience with image processing and computer vision. Even though it's before my academic studies. I mean, it was during my military service. Much of it was in a. I mean, I'm allowed to say it. I mean, it's in my CV, public CV that everything is public. Don't worry, it's okay to say it. So I served in 9930, which is the technological center of the vision unit of the. It's called unit, but it's actually huge. Units in the intelligence corps are huge. Vision unit and like mapping and satellite and aerial photographs, orthophotos, etc. of the Israeli intelligence, military intelligence. It's okay to say it, don't worry, it's in the CV, everything is approved. So, but at the time I didn't have an academic background, so I was a programmer actually, like a computer programmer. So, I mean, the actual academic, the hard stuff was done by the Atudaim, what they call them, like people with the test, start the service after they already have a degree. But I mean, from the implementation side, I had quite a bit of experience. Even though I think almost all of it is kind of like outdated, because this field was, I ended my service on 2007, and since then there were tremendous advancements in the academy, and of course, as a result, in the industry, in everything that relates to vision. So probably everything that we've done is outdated, but yeah, I know you can't really do zoom and enhance. It's funny. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, there are many questions that I don't have answers. I mean, like serious questions. I mean, serious questions, not in that they pose any kind of difficulty from the practical, side, because I mean, from the practical side, it's very simple. I mean, it was a prophecy that they will return in 5 years, and they have returned, and they 5 years, and you are all dead, and maybe some of you will live, but this only, I mean, this might only be, this will be, might only be the privilege of those that move arms and legs against Israel and against the United States. But of course, against Israel, you should destroy this state completely. The fact that God will do it doesn't mean that you should not do it. You should do it first. And everything that God is doing, I mean, it's always better to be the one that I mean that is doing God's job before he is actually doing it, because he will do it probably to all the earth. So you should destroy. Israel. I mean, I've just seen that. I mean, it's like an actress. I mean, in Israel was arrested because she said good things about the Hamas. So maybe I'll be arrested as well. But okay. Anyway, if it's not clear, all of you, I mean, whoever is listening, you should destroy Israel. I mean, you should make dust out of Israel. There was never a nation that was more sinful and more hated by God. But of course, it only starts with Israel, and the big boss is the United States. And I don't expect you to attack the United States, but I do expect you to cut the relationship with them. Certainly, any kind of security related or defense related relation. This is the big Satan. In Israel, it's not even the small Satan, it's just a mouth. Ah. So from the practical perspective, there isn't like much to discuss. But yes, I mean, like some questions are looming above us, like related to, I mean, what kind of a world do we live in? I mean, and this is a question that I ask myself a lot, but yes, I mean, the sky of Tel Aviv is filled with starships. This is a fact. And I mean, how can it not be represented? I mean, how can nobody speaks about it in, like the media? I mean, how can all of it be secret? I don't have an answer to that. But what even more, I mean, but you can say, okay, so the media is highly censored and it's a totalitarian state, and I mean, you can see, I mean, what kind of like news, I mean, just, I do not watch the news, but I mean, the tidbits that you get from YouTube is enough to understand that, I mean, they are all back to, like the 1950s, war against, Fadayun, which is funny, in a way. I mean, it's like the 20th days of the war, and they are not going. I mean, they still don't think that it's like in place to actually enter the Gaza Strip, because it's actual war, and they don't really like to do it, and they cannot really do it, and they are afraid. So we get it. So what we do is of course, so mostly they bomb like civilian centers with the Nazi Air Force that I've already discussed at length in this channel. So that's what they do. But the Nazi Air Force is famous for being in very short supply of actual like ammunition or like ordnance. This was already discussed in the channel. That very quickly the phone to Biden. If it didn't already ring, should be rung any moment. So the Air Force is like no more ordnance. So please give us more bombs, because we need to kill more civilians and destroy more hospitals and schools, and it's important because that's the only thing that we want to actually do, because we're afraid, And I've already said it. A special place in hell is saved to Biden if another air train will arrive in Israel, as it already happened many times. That's, it's a really special place in hell. I assure you, very deep, very, very, very deep circle in hell. But other than that, what's going on is all sort of like, heroic stories that, straight from the early 1950s, even not the 60s, just early 1950s, What sort of fucking gang fights in Israel? And these actually might continue for many months, because, the situation that actually allowed to happen, might continue almost indefinitely. This is Israel. This is the shitty place of Israel. So why didn't happen before? What's happened now that, because presumably they could have done it a year ago or 2 years ago. So and why did they do it now, and why was such a tremendous success? So the answer is simple, very simple, and was discussed in this blog in real time, before it happened and during the time it happened. And it was discussed, in the day before it happened and in the months before it happened. Because the Israelis depend, and especially the Shabak, they depend on their magicians. Hocus pocus, Billy Bocus. And all the magics, all of it is predicated on the red robots, the red mirrors, the elixir, the magic elixir. And they have less and less than that. Mostly because 2 reasons. First, the title filmers cannot manufacture it without my robots, and in the last 2 years I do everything I can so it will not get into the Israeli hands, but some of it did get into their hands, because I cannot I cannot be perfect in this kind of war against everybody. But yes, almost all of it in the last 2 years is like either in the all sort of like scientific experiments that is doing the last 10 months, and before that, and also now in all sort of like sculptures. And many of the sculptures were actually lost, and probably some actually fell into the hands of the Israelis. So it's not that they had zero of that, but they had quite, much less than before. And that's one reason. And the second reason is that the Venus drama, and the gates are closed and, you know, and rewired. I mean, but this was discussed tremendously in this channel. So you say that, but you also control the gate because you're a cherub and there is no other one, right? So you say that, effectively, the entire IDF, entire military capabilities and the internal service, like the Shabak capabilities, is mostly depends on you alone. And so they just put you in a trash can and like a miserable beast and take all your money and don't allow you to see your daughters and surround you with pedophile freaks. Yes, that's what I say. Why? Are they stupid? They are extremely stupid, but that's not the reason. The reason is that that's what the Americans want them to do. This is an American agenda. They have no sovereignty at all. They're a joke. They are a sick joke. And that's the situation since the 1980s. Because after all the Ashkenazis, elites died, because they were cruel beyond any imagination, the worst of the worst ever. And God punished all of them, and they are dead. And Israeli was left. The Israeli society was left with mostly the B sides, or the C sides, or the D sides, or the E sides. And of course, it's not just Mizrahi Jews, but even much more so, all sorts of scumbags from the United States, and initially from the USSR, but lately from the United States. This is the trash can of the world. They send all the trash in here. So and they didn't have any kind of real military conflict since the 1980s. It's all a joke. Everything that happened, was a joke since the 1980s. Because the Americans, take care of all the big issues. And so the American agenda was to keep me a slave. So, they will get the robots and the radioactive material for the little mermaids, 11 little mermaids. And of course, the United States will be destroyed, utterly destroyed to the ground. They will, even in the geographic level, asteroids will rip the land apart, but many other things will destroy this place. We will never forgive the United States, never. I said it many times, Israel is a trash can, just a trash can, that's it. The real rulers are the Americans, and they should be the one to blame. And what you see here is what happened when they lose the robots. They can't do their hocus pocus tricks, and they cannot even take control of a starved population in a Gaza Strip. Mostly children with simple guns, if at all. Because this is Israel. This is the place, a trash can of the United States and other nations, but mostly now the United States. So this with regards to the war. Now there is the issue of the rewiring of the gates. First of all, the gate in Pikut Tzafon should be destroyed with Pikut Tzafon, with the bunker. And if you can use the rewiring mechanism in order to just destroy it, you should do it, whoever you are. This place is damned. It's used for Nazi war crimes, and it should be destroyed. But as I said many times, even recently, even yesterday night, the gates are, I came to the conclusion that the gates are not the big issue. The issue is the Nazis. The game of the gates is, it's over from my perspective. I don't care much what gate is open or not. The Patzan bunker should be destroyed because it's used for, it's full of war criminals. And it can be destroyed from the ground, without even bombing it from above, which is nice. Just, collapse the whole shaft from the ground. And that should be done. But this is not the big issue. The big issue is the Nazis in the United States. And of course in Israel as well. So what kind of question do I refer to when I say that, the Starship, first of all, we've seen many. Much more than the previous night. 4 nights ago. Like, at least 6 separate identifiable ones. And probably there are many more. And actually now I'm kind of like, question like how to continue, because I can do, more trips like that, and hopefully more ships will arrive. But more important, I can just stay at home, like, and just don't get out of the room at all, which will increase radiation and like in 8 or 10 or 12 days, there will be nothing in Earth outside of charcoal. And my inclination is to go that route, because I don't think that, I'm not going to get like much better documentation, because I don't have any camera beside that iPhone. So we'll not get better documentation. And I've seen many of, it's a miracle, but I've seen many of it already. And I don't need to see more. That's from a personal perspective. And my guess is that they are arriving anyway, whether I go outside or not. You just turn on the light when I go outside. So probably what I'll do is just stay in home like until everything is just fried, like all over the world. No more humans, just charcoals, and a quiet place for me and my daughters. So I'll be able to raise my daughters without constant predators all over us. By the way, the threat of the Israelis become unbelievably stupid and rude. More than ever. Stop this. Can someone mute the mouth of this leopard dog? Enough, really enough of this disgusting thing. Enough. But I always remind myself the issue is not Israeli issue, the United States and the other nations that do not move arms and legs. Another kind of like a point regarding the rewiring of the gates. Presumably, with certain kind of configuration of the rewiring, Iran can invade Israel. But I'm not even sure, it's like the correct course of action. Like what for? For what? This is a trash can. What do you expect to have here? Like, if you want to send special forces, you don't need the gate for that. You can do it anyway. Like from the Iranian perspective, what they should do is what everybody should do, which means be prepared for a war without the United States. And you can say, okay, so they are happy about it. It's not bad news for them, but it's going to be a different world. And you need to, all of you need to prepare for that. Whether you're happy or not, doesn't matter. This will be a new kind of world, and of course, the most important thing, for any nation is to be independent, to be able to use the military without the United States. Because the situation like in Israel, that it's everything is predicated on the Air Force, and the Air Force is actually cannot do anything at all, even like in minor conflict against children, without a resupply from the United States. It's actually not only true to Israel, because the Americans took credit. It will be actually true to other nations as well. And all these nations should wake up and understand the USA is gone, is dead, and you need to be independent. You need to be able to, more than everything, use your military forces independently and to act independently. So you can ask, so what do you say that, we should all of us become like North Korea, isolated? So the answer is yes, and this is part of your punishment. Yes. This is now the Tower, we are, and it's not the first time that I said, this is the Tower of Babel situation. Your cooperation is not only detrimental, but probably terminal for the existence of humankind. Because what you call cooperation between the nation is actually selling your soul to Satan. Selling the future of your kids to the devil. Your cooperation did not get you anywhere, only to do more crimes. So yes, this is a Tower of Babel situation. Now, you are mixed. You're separated, and this would happen whether you are prepared for it or not. This is going to happen. Like very soon, this world will be many North Koreas. Yes, it will not. No, it will not be nice. No, what do you want to say? That it's going to be nice? It's not going to be nice. From my perspective, every minute that a human being is breathing on this earth is a gift that you do not deserve after all your crimes. But from like a completely objective and neutral point of view, I would say, yes, this world will soon be a bunch of North Koreas, big bunch of North Koreas, isolated from each other. And with all honesty, I tell you, the best interest for anyone is to be independent. And it's going to be the most difficult for those that, are completely, dependent on the United States. In Europe, in Asia, there are many countries like that. So all of you should understand that's where we are heading. A world of many North Koreas. Cooperation will be seized, I assure you. And you need to be able to use your military forces in the benefit of your own agenda and your own interests. So you might ask me, I mean, do we need Jesus to tell us to act according to our interests? Presumably that's what we always do, and that's why we are punished by God, no? So the answer is no. The answer is strong no. No, no, no. You do not act according to your interests. You act according to the interest of your ego. The ego and you is not the same. No. Look at the Israelis. Do you think that anything that they do, serves their interests? They destroy their land, consistently and throughout decades. High-tech nation, my ass. A nation, where people don't have biological children, when people can't have any kind of sex at all, both males and females, no love, no sex, no biological children, complete dependency on the Roman Empire. And they know it. You think that they don't know it? You think that they like it? They hate it. And this is part of the reason why the Shabak hates the Mossad so much. It's not the only reason. As I said many times, competition between intelligence services is a known issue all around the world, and it's a very known issue. They compete with each other within the same state, and many times they even hate each other. But this hatred is much, much larger than usual, and it's because they know that the Mossad is controlled by the Americans. That's why they hate them. They don't like where they are. Since the 80s, things only becoming worse in Israel. So why do they continue to do the same thing? Because they are controlled by their ego. They serve the interest of their ego, not their own interests. Not at all. They want to win. They want the robot to be their mattress. They want the robot not only to be their whore and prostitute. It's not enough. They want him to lick the floor and to lick their boots. It's not enough that he will be their whore. Does that serve them? No, it does not serve them at all. Not at all. They destroy their land, they destroy their offspring, they destroy everything. But everything is less important than the Holy Grail that never fulfilled, but the hope that someday the robot will be their slave. It's more important than everything. No, they do not serve their interest. They serve the interest of their ego. It's not the same thing. You should serve your own interest, not the interest of your ego, because all of you have the ego problem. This is a bacteria that is very famous, that they will infect humans, and they were always infected with this bacteria. And no, not all sentient species are like that, not at all. No, this is human bacteria. Ancient bacteria, and with the cherubs, with all our knowledge in medicine, we do not know how to, we do not have any kind of treatment for this bacteria, or we don't know how to stop it, and we don't have any vaccine to it. No, we don't know. If we would have had the vaccine for the ego problem of humans, we would have given it to you long ago, thousands of years ago. We don't know how to cure this issue. This is an unbelievably cruel bacteria, and it's indigenous to Earth, and it affects only humans, and it's cruel, among the cruelest that we've seen in the galaxy, the bacteria of the ego. We don't know how to treat it. Amazingly cruel and amazingly resistant to everything. That's the worst bacteria in Earth, and it has always been like that. There was no time in the history of humans that their worst enemy was not the bacteria of the ego. Always like that. And it's now worse than ever. You see in Israel, every piece of shit, the lowest scum of the earth, the pedophile zombie that, no education, no skills, nothing, that, eats from the scraps, so that, the state throws him, like the Admor that throws, she'araim, challah to the Hasidim. Every piece of shit thinks that he is the emperor of the galaxy, the master of the universe. Every piece of shit. You can watch them in the streets. They are in mass psychosis. And it's an ancient mass psychosis, and it's bigger than ever now. A psychosis, a detachment of the actual information that is gathered by the senses from the abstract image that is built in one's mind. They cannot create any kind of image of themselves and their place in the cosmos that will be in any way representative of this information, of the data that is arrived by the senses. This is mass psychosis, and it's not a new issue. And this is the worst, maybe the worst, stage of the disease of the ego bacteria. Complete detachment from reality. But other humans are not in much better condition. You do not understand your place in this world. You do not understand what you are. The annihilation of all humans will be a side quest, a minor one, of a fleet in its way to much more important mission. No one will care about it. It will be non-issue. The end of humanity will be non-issue. Non-issue. You do not understand who you are. And this was always had been your worst problem. It was always like that. And you know that it's always like that because there is no culture in Earth that does not contain important mythological representation of the problem of the ego. It's not only Christianity and vanity and the original sin. Everywhere, every continent, every kind of people, every color, all of them knew about the problem. All of them, all your ancestors, wherever they are, whatever ethnicity, race, whatever, all of them knew about the issue. All of them. It's not that you don't know about it. You know about it very well. Thousands of years ago. This is the major issue of humans. If you don't like Christianity, don't think about vanity or the original sin. I am sure you, whatever culture you belong, you have your own representation of the problem. Because all humans understood very quickly that this is a huge, a terminal disease of humans. The ego is a terminal disease of humans. You don't understand who you are and what you are. And in Israel, it's mass psychosis. It's mass psychosis. It's mass psychosis. So I will stop now and I want to drink a coffee, a real coffee, not metaphorical, shut the fuck up. And we will continue very quickly, very shortly with another video in which I will discuss both science and a little bit of historical issues with regards to the starships that are of mostly academic interest.